Yes, guys, welcome to Stretford Paddock. This is the review of Manchester United versus Crystal Palace. United 3, Crystal Palace 1, pre-season, 100% record so far. I'm joined by Danny and Joe. It was all right, that, wasn't it?
Enjoyed it. Yeah, I liked seeing the. I mean, obviously the front three find form. It's a nice ring to it that we put up behind your head, and it was the case. All three of them getting nice goals. We scored some nice goals. Martial's first goal was a lovely little takedown, great finish. Sancho's goal for me was our favourite. We just watched it then, didn't we, Danny? The replay. It's a good goal.
It's a nice goal. Like I was just said as well, that's a goal that doesn't get scored if Ronaldo's there, I think. So it's more of a fluid attacking system here, I think.
So for them front three, do you think that if Ronaldo's in amongst it, he just sort of slows everything down?
He doesn't make that pass to Sancho, I think
Martial's got that in the locker more than...
He tries to play that to the right back or something. He holds on to it for a little bit longer.
Yeah, I do think so. We're going to go through all the goals. We'll go through all that. Get your questions in, get your comments in. We'll be going through them. Let's start with the first goal.
Yeah.
Martial. Well, let's start with Martial missed a couple of chances to start with, a couple where he got broke through, and then obviously he made that shot and Butland broke it. I think it looks like he's broke or dislocated his thumb with it.
Man, that must be a tough
But again, that was the kind of thing you mentioned there. He should be scoring that in the game.
Which arm was it?
It's his right arm.
Stuff that.
You know what that means?
So
He struggled to turn the telly over.
He's struggling.
And wipe his bum.
Yeah.
If he's left-handed. It's a shame, that, isn't it?
It is a shame. It is a shame. You don't want that in pre-season. But with that shot, good save in the first half, and you're kind of thinking, is that the same thing with Martial again? We've been questioning who's going to get the goals this season. Yes, it is pre-season, but 3-3 for Martial. Second chance he gets, takes it down well, finishes it. You need that from Martial.
I think that's more important.
Yeah, absolutely.
You don't mind him missing that first chance because he buried the second one, and there was a second one. Sometimes with Martial, you see him miss a chance and he'll hide for the game, and you won't see him again. So to get back involved and get on the end of that other one, it's what you want to see. Yeah. I mean, I'm not his biggest fan and never really have been, but I think I'm impressed with what I've seen in pre-season. He looks like he cares.
Yeah, he does look like he cares, and maybe this is Ten Hag kind of putting his arm around him and going, look, you're going to need to be my main man for at least the start of the season, at least until Ronaldo gets back, or even for the entire season. Yeah. And we're hoping that he kind of kicks on from there. But no, good first half. Crystal Palace didn't really create too many chances. There was a big question. Maguire, I think, in the 4th minute was getting booed by some of the fans, but I thought Harry Maguire had a pretty good first half and a pretty good hour that he played today. I don't think you can knock Harry Maguire for anything he did today.
No, I think the thing about Maguire is, and it's weird to say, but he didn't steal any headlines for the wrong reasons, if you get me. He just played a solid game, and essentially that's what you need from your centre-back. You don't want to be talking about them every game. You just want them to just have solid performances, do what they need to do, and then they just go unnoticed in a way. And you sort of, when some of the best centre-backs we've ever had, they go unnoticed for periods of time, but that's because they're just doing the job right. And then you reflect on how good they were. So if Maguire's doing that, not making any silly mistakes, not giving away any chances to the opposition, if he keeps that up and finds a perfect centre-back partner for him, because I think it's very likely that it's going to be Maguire starting because he's captain, obviously. Varane, I think Ten Hag will be worried about his standard of fitness if he keeps getting injured. So then he might look to maybe bring Martinez in. I don't know. Yeah. So Maguire's got to be that main figure at the back, and he's just got to keep doing good performances.
Yeah, let's go through it and talk about the back for a bit. We'll talk about the goal that we kind of conceded towards the end was a very much rotated back four, not great from David De Gea. But mention Maguire there. It looks like him captain. He's going to start. Varane out the squad again. Worrying.
But it's also not worrying, but it's weird that you don't want to leave Varane out on his day. I think he's the best defender in the side, but he's obviously spent 45 mil on Martinez now, so he's got to go somewhere. He's not paid 45 mil to sit him on the bench.
Lindelof, I think, was probably our best defender, more consistent. It wasn't a very high bar last year. It was probably our best defender last season. You've then got the other question, and maybe I'm reading too much into this, but you've got Will Fish came on there alongside Alex Tellez. Eric Bayer's had a good couple of first games showing glimpses, driving forward with the ball very well. Doesn't feature today. Is that, again, him either injured or them just not fancying him to come on again? Eric Bayer was getting touted as one of our best defenders. He's just not fit enough again, is he?
Yeah, but also I think you always have to judge pre-season on the pre-season, not game by game. So he hasn't played today. He might play 90 minutes against Villa. Yeah. Is it Villa?
I think so.
So until the pre-season's over, you can't really judge on these people getting little minutes here and there.
No.
like Malacia played 90 minutes today, didn't he? Or the majority of. He might not play on Saturday. Yeah. So, you just don't know.
Yeah, we'll talk about... Move on to the midfield a little bit. We'll talk about the first half where Fred and McTominay in there. I thought they were all right. I think there were still the same kind of limitations. I don't think they were too great on the ball, but I don't think they were horrendous on the ball. But there's a big comment here saying you need to mention Donny because he did change the game. Now, the one substitute at half-time, there was said there was going to be an hour of the team. There was one substitute at half-time. McTominay goes off. Van der Beek comes on. Whether it was him changing the game,
changing the game is a big statement, isn't it?
It's a big statement.
We were on the front four.
Well, when Van der Beek came on, we drew 1-1. Essentially.
Yeah, we did.
What are you saying?
Well, he did. No, I think in the second half, I think for that first 15, 20 minutes, 15 minutes of the second half, I think we looked very good. I think that kind of fits. I still have question marks over whether it can be Fred and Donny van der Beek in the midfield defensively. But I do think that he looked sharp, and that front three he looked very, very sharp.
Why we're talking about it is because he was in the build up to a very good goal.
Yeah, that's definitely it. Yeah,
and that's why he's grabbed our attention. That's why we're chatting about him.
But also, what you're hoping is because you have a squad.
Yeah.
So you're hoping that Ten Hag's done there what managers haven't done in the past and gone, actually, these aren't troubling us going forward at all. Yeah. Let's make it less defensive, more attacking. He's took McTominay off. And then put Van der Beek on, which is what you want, really. He's realised that, because I don't think McTominay had a bad game.
No, I don't think so.
He was playing forward passes, he was breaking stuff up.
Yeah.
But then he's probably thought, we don't need him here.
Yeah.
Like, we don't need two of these.
No.
So that's what he's done. And that, if he is doing that, then that looks good going forward, especially with Eriksen to come in as well.
Yeah, yeah.
So let's talk about that. Was it the second goal in particular? The first one, ball forward, Rashford kind of takes someone on. Good bit of interplay, gets played out to the right-hand side, Donny van der Beek cuts it across, and Rashford finishes it.
Oh, yeah, I was wrong, actually, wasn't I? It was 1-0, not 2-0 before. Yeah, sorry about that. Don't flame me.
The Van der Beek fans will be for you.
Good football from United for that second.
It was nice. Second goal. It was just a bit more like we saw against Liverpool, just players having quite... nice bits of freedom in what they do, finding nice passes, and then just the fluidity of how the ball comes over, bang, 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 and the next thing you know, Donny van der Beek's in a wonderful position, squares it. It's a goal. It's 2-0.
Yeah, it did look good.
Do you know what's good about it? Is these the goals that last year we were seeing like Liverpool and City score, and we were like, well, why don't we score them cutback goals and stuff like that? Yeah. All our goals like are just like pings or whatever. We're relying on individual brilliance. Yeah. But these are like classic team tap. You want to score more tap-ins. Like that's the trouble with us. We don't score enough tap-ins.
And the third goal.
Yeah, so true.
The third goal was just quality, wasn't it? It was. Yeah. You know, there was the ball forward into, I think Rashford then picks it up, plays it into Martial, who plays it first time into Jadon Sancho, who took his time, let the defender go down, let the keeper go down, and slots it in. That's one of the best goals we've seen on pre-season.
He's got a very intelligent header on him, Sancho. I know he's played a lot of first-team football in Germany and obviously in Manchester, but I think he's moving up a little gear. And hopefully he can shine when it comes to Premier League action. I like him. He's a good player.
Yeah, I rate him.
15, 20 goals this season.
I wasn't even that fussed last year when people were saying, oh, he's flopped and that. It's like, it's difficult to come into the Premier League. And I don't think he was as bad as everyone thought. He just wasn't as good as everyone thought he was going to be.
Best of a bad bunch in terms of our wide players. I think he looked better towards the end of the season. And there's always a drop-off with people coming in from the Bundesliga. Hopefully he steps up this season. And it looks like this team is not building around him, but is suiting him a little bit more. And he's a player I think that Ten Hag likes. Ten Hag likes one of his wingers to come inside, drift inside, link up. And I think he's that player. Delot is kind of building that. We talked about this in the preview. Delot is kind of building that. I think he's looking better on that right-hand side. Defensively, there's still questions, but at least going forward, Delot and Sancho looks to be a good little partnership with that right-hand side. I'm hoping to get more of that.
So I want to bring up, and just something I think is slightly missing a little bit. And I know people will say, oh, it will come in the Premier League, but I just think Fish got sent off, youngster coming on, I think he's in the 80th minute, 81st. And it just identified a little problem that I still don't think we've got an amazing leader off the pitch. I don't think we've got character too much on the pitch yet of like a team effort. Like no one went over to Fish. Like this kid is gutted right now. His head was in his hands. You know, he's been watched by more people now playing football than he's ever been watched before. He's made a mistake, but no one was there to really, like, as he was walking off, his head was in his hands.
Yeah. Was there anyone on the pitch though that would normally do that?
Maybe some of the attackers who would drop back, even maybe De Gea. He just sort of watched him slowly wander off with his head in his hands and look gutted. Whereas, you know, you'd have thought back in the day there would have been someone to put an arm around his shoulder and go, this is pre-season. You know, we move forward with that. I hope he just doesn't let that affect him.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, but I can't now think of a time when that... Because it is good to hark back about all the leaders and stuff.
But I suppose no one's really got sent off in a pre-season before.
No.
But I think if someone did, come on, they would have.
But they might all be round him now in the changing rooms, like... Come on, mate.
Yeah,
you're all right.
I think he'll be all right. I don't think I'm too
little too late though.
Again,
he was gutted the kid.
He was his first team appearance for United.
He might still be walking just straight out the ground.
Not very happy. But anyway,
can't see.
He'll be all right. I think Will Fish. And then the only thing we have that goal that Crystal Palace scored came from a cross. Teller's getting beat in the air. Again, him playing centre back is look. Him playing centre back. I've not got too many expectations about him being there, and the only question mark about that is it was a bit of a mistake from De Gea. You mentioned
it was a big mistake. I think
it was a big mistake.
Like,
from De Gea.
And you can argue because he look again. This is the thing about De Gea is he never looks like it's his fault. He looks straight at Tellez like as if to say, "Why are you letting him beat you in the air there?" And it's like, yeah, but you still could have backheeled that away.
He still could have made that one. Which again, I think there's going to be question marks over De Gea, but I don't think that's going to change for this season. You're going to have David De Gea in goal. I think that decision's been made.
But we're all talking about the best thing about De Gea is his shot stopping. Now, if he's doing that, I know it's only pre-season, but what I mean, if that carries on into the season and he is making those shot stopping mistakes where that was his strong point, that was the only thing that you'd keep him in the team for, then, I don't know, maybe it's Tom Eaton's time. Let's
have a look at a couple of your comments today. Whilst I'm looking at the comments, who's your man of the match, Joe McGrath, today?
Great question. Can Dan go first?
Danny, who's your man of the match then? Go for that one.
I think you got to give it to Martial, really. He's got a goal and an assist there, and like he looked sharp, and he looked like his build-up play sort of it's overlooked sometimes, but he's quite good at bringing people into play like that. I liked him today. I was a fan of him.
I'm going to give it to Harry Maguire.
All right. Okay. Is there a reason why? Was he better? Was he better than everyone else?
He needs it.
Who was the official man of the match?
I think there's a few people saying Sancho man of the match. I think Sancho might have been given the official man of the match.
Not Fish.
Not Fish.
Poor lad.
Someone
say he's all right.
But anyway, someone got Harper saying Martial. He was heavily involved in all three goals.
Yeah.
People saying I don't think De Gea's contract should be renewed. He's a legend, but let's not keep it going. I agree. I think that this might be his last season. What else have we got in here? Let's have a look. Tellez needs to get sold. A lot of people not very happy with Tellez. Look,
give him away.
There was a question saying, what do you think the theory is with Tellez playing at centre back? I think we've not got enough centre backs, and I don't think he wants him playing at left back. So it's just a case of that's you getting your minutes, fill in the gap for the next half an hour and here.
But it might be counterproductive though, because if you are like, arguably now, Bailly might be easier to sell after this pre-season because he's had a good pre-season like on paper. Do you know what I mean? He's looked good. Someone might see that and go, oh, we can use that in the team. But if you're trying to sell Tellez, you're playing him centre half and he's just doing stuff like that. He might be harder to sell.
He might be. We've got nearly 2,000 people watching, only 130 likes. Let's get up to 500 likes.
Give it 500 likes.
Give the video a like for me. Steve Austin said, impressed by Malacia today. You're loving that shuttlecock, aren't you?
Yeah, 3 out of 3 for the shuttlecock, by the way. This is our magic shuttlecock. That'll help us all the way to
Premier League glory.
Yeah.
Tyrell Malacia.
Top 4.
What do you reckon to him today? He did look good. He looked solid. Luke Shaw not even getting an appearance at all today. Do you think Malacia is in with a shout to start the season, or do you still think that it's Shaw and he'll kind of fill in here, there and everywhere?
The thing is, if Ten Hag likes him, just start him. Like, he can't be much, even if he's not as good as Shaw on paper, he can't be worse than Shaw was last season.
That's true.
And there's no guarantee that Shaw's going to be better than he was last season.
No.
So you may as well start him, and then if he's not good, then that's Shaw's chance. Because Shaw's chance was all last season, and he didn't do it.
No.
Buy him, you bought him, play him.
Do you think he's been bought as the starting left back though, or has he just been
spent a good chunk of money on him?
12 million quid?
That's not these days. That
true.
It's Dan James levels of money. That if not, I don't think 12 million's a lot. I think that he's, I think he's maybe been brought in as a backup as maybe a different option. But I think that he maybe does that defensive role in the cover a little bit better than, say, Luke Shaw does. And I think if he's going to play Delo, I think he's been the favoured one so far. I don't think Wan-Bissaka's impressed at all. Again, he didn't have too much today. Ethan Laird didn't, come on and stake his place for next season. So I think it's going to be Delo at the start of the season, and I think he might like Malacia on that other side. Let's have a look at a few more of your comments. More people asking about James Garner, who still hasn't made an appearance. He's just recovered from an injury. I do think they're kind of bedding him in and not risking him. There's some reports about him going on loan, but we will wait and see about that. Connor's saying, why does the price define whether he starts over Shaw? Shaw is a big boy, overpaid. Look, I don't think the price defines him, but I do think it kind of shows that it's not a guarantee of whether you're signing someone like that coming in. He's still a young lad. He's only 22. Don't think there's too much with that. Let's have a look at a few more of your comments. I think Savage had not a great game. Want to see Jimmy Garner. Yeah, I think when the changes happened, because it wasn't a half-time like these lads have done so far, they came on with half an hour to go. A few people stayed on and all this kind of stuff. It kind of went all over the place.
Yeah, and they made loads of changes as well. Yeah. So the game was it was almost like one of them Sven Eriksson England friendlies when they just changed 11 players. Like, it just didn't seem like it was any use after then. It's just about like getting fitness, I think, after that.
Yeah, I think so. I think it was just a case of fitness. You've seen Ethan Laird come on and get half an hour. A lot of players just getting half an hour of fitness. Medbury came on. He had the one shot. People have been wanting to see him. Do you expect for the final pre-season game on tour, and then they've got the games in Oslo, which is a week before the start of the season, which probably is the more serious games. Do you expect to see a fully rotated team for the Villa game, or do you expect it to be strong again for that game on Saturday?
I think it's gonna be a rotated team, and then I think you're gonna start seeing what he thinks is the first 11 after then.
Yeah, so.
You think that?
Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, that's it. It's go time now, isn't it? I guess the more closer we get to that August date, we got to just start like really putting the final touches to his starting 11. I think he'll do that, and he's got also, but like you said, the rotating part of it. He just knows what he's going to get from different players if he just sees them all firsthand. So it's a nice little.
It is nice. 3 wins so far. Are you more? Is this making things more positive going into the season? Are you thinking we can do more off the back of this, or is it just it's pre-season? It is what it is.
To me, it's pre-season, and if you have a good pre-season, what that means is you don't pick up too many injuries.
Yeah.
Like no one looks super shit. I think that you know what I mean though. Like people can look all right, they're finding their feet, but if someone looks well out of their depth, then especially these players who the jury's out anyway, like Martial, so Martial's look great, Rashford's look good coming back. Like I think it bodes well, but it does mean nothing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what do you make of that? Do you agree?
Pre-season's always a funny one. We've got our hopes up before in the past. The more Premier League clubs we play, the better, I think, because you introduce the youngsters and you introduce some people that we might have signed into what certain players are like in the Premier League, and it got a bit tasty at times, didn't
some
it?
of them tackles flying.
And that kind of didn't really happen against Melbourne Victory. But that is the taste of the Premier League. Get used to it.
A couple more of your guys' comments. Best thing to take from this is the players look like they're getting what Ten Hag is trying to put across. Still a long way to go. We can sell Hannibal. Look, I don't know whether there's been a fitness issue, but him only getting these first half an hour is maybe a little bit of a sign for me.
They're not going to sell him, though.
They're not going to sell him. I think it might be a loan. I think you've got them young lads. You've got Zidane. You've got Charlie Savage and Hannibal. I think 2 of those go on loan this season. Yeah. There's no point. Under 23s football is it's not the right thing to play. There's no point in playing.
From what I've seen as well, I think Hannibal's the one who's closer to red. Like he's played for Tunisia, he's played senior football. Mm-hmm. Those other 2 lads haven't.
Yeah.
So get them on loan. And get play against some men.
Yeah. A few people saying why no Garnacho? He's 18 years old. I think just a bit of patience and I think he's maybe looked at him and gone, you don't need this pre-season. We don't need you playing these games. Mm-hmm. Just come along with the lads and train and stuff. That's important. Yeah. But again, you don't need to be going and playing.
Not everyone's games. Rooney at 18.
No, not everyone is, and that's it. You don't have to do that. People asking about Zidane Iqbal. Iqbal plays for Iraq. That's the only thing. Iqbal's been playing a few games for that. Do you think that he's maybe the one that stays around, depending on who we get in, just because of how good he's been in pre-season in that midfield role? I think we've got Handel's biggest problem again. We talked about on the stream about Angel Gomez and Shola Shoretire and people like that. You've got Bruno in there, and then you've got Donny van der Beek, and they are established players, played at the top level, and are experienced. You're not going to drop them out of there. And if you're going to rotate, you don't want to be the third rotation, especially someone like Bruno who's fit all season. He never gets injured, Bruno. So you don't want to be the one backing up the backup to him, because you're just not going to get the chance in there. Whereas you look at someone like Iqbal, in where we are at the minute in midfield, we've not got a creative midfielder that sits in there. And I think that he could maybe stay in there and rotate in and see from there. Let's have a look what else we've got from your comments. Steve Fletcher, I think Martinez is coming in at left centre-back. Maguire looked better at right centre-back. I do think that it might be the case. I thought he was going to come in and play midfield, but it's looking like he's going to come in and play at that centre-back. Let's have a look. Let's have a look at this. Someone's given the stats for Maguire. Maguire literally had 76 touches, 60 out of 64 passes completed, 10 long passes, 3 possession won, 3 headed clearances, but people think he played bad.
Harry Maguire, man of the match, didn't I?
He was very good, Harry Maguire. I wouldn't say he's man of the match, but he did very well. Gary Towers has said Sancho, Rashford and Martial equals goals. Good to see that. It is good to see all three of them scoring.
Fine form.
Yes, they have been doing. Right, thank you very much for joining us in this review of the game. Make sure you are liking the video. Make sure you're subscribing to the channel. We'll have a Stephen Howson review later on. The lads will be giving their reaction from Australia. Where are they? They're in Melbourne. They're in Melbourne. They've been at the game. Make sure you're checking out all our other socials where they are. You've been documenting all that, so make sure you're checking all that out. Thank you very much, Joe. Thank you very much, Danny.
Nice one. Thank you.
Cheers for joining us today. Like I said, subscribe to the channel. Got loads more coming up, and we'll see you in the next one. Laters.